The country's dollar reserves rose to $105.5 billion in May.
When we talk about defense, we usually think missiles, alliances, and warships. But behind every strong military is something just as powerful and far less visible. Right now, the Philippines is holding over 100 billion US dollars in foreign reserves. And that is not a typo, $100 billion. This isn't loose change. It's the Philippines' economic war chest, a quiet but critical shield, not just for our economy, but for national defense. While other nations flex military muscle, the Philippines may be holding a different kind of deterrent. Deep reserves, strong currency control, and the ability to fund a long-term defense plan. The question is the Philippines using this financial firepower the way they should? Let's break it down. What are these reserves? Why do they matter now more than ever? And how could they shape the future of Philippine economy and defense? Gross International Reserves, or GIR, are the Philippines' financial lifeline. It's what the country uses to defend its currency, pay its international bills, and signal to the world, we're not broke and we're not desperate. Right now, as of mid-2024, the BSP is holding over 100 billion US dollars in reserves. This stockpile includes foreign currencies like the dollar and yen, gold reserves, special drawing rights from the IMF, and other liquid assets. Why does this matter? Because in times of crisis, whether it's inflation, conflict, or a global recession, these reserves can be used to keep the Philippine peso stable. They can also help pay for essential imports, cover external debt, and keep investor confidence high. Think of it as a national emergency fund. When the peso comes under attack, or when fuel and food imports get too expensive, GIR is what steps in, quietly, efficiently, without political drama. And here's the strategic layer. A strong reserve position gives the Philippines room to breathe, not just economically, but militarily. Because in the age of great power competition, economic resilience is part of the battle plan. The war isn't just fought at sea or in the skies. It's also fought in banks, in markets, and in national ledgers. So why is this billion-dollar reserve especially important in 2025? Because the pressure is building from every direction. China's growing assertiveness in the South China Sea, oil prices swinging due to conflict in the Middle East, the peso getting hit by global interest rates. These aren't abstract events. They directly threaten Philippine stability. On top of that, the Philippines is modernizing its military. Big-ticket items like fighter jets, submarines, air defense systems. None of these come cheap, and without a healthy reserve, the AFP's plans could stall. Reserves act as a financial force multiplier. They assure our defense partners, like the US, Japan, and Australia, that we're serious, stable, and ready to shoulder our part of the burden. Compared to neighbors, the Philippines isn't the biggest spender, but its reserve position is solid, and that matters when tensions with a global superpower is close to its limits. But can these reserves directly fund defense? What's the connection between money in the vault and missiles on the coast? Here's the key question. Can these billion-dollar reserves actually fund weapons, fighter jets, warships, and defense upgrades? The answer, not directly, but they make it possible.
The Gross International Reserves, or GIR, serves as the country's buffer against external shocks.
Gross international reserves aren't like a savings account you spend from, but they do allow the government to borrow at lower rates, stabilize the currency, and pay for imports like fuel, tech, and yes, military equipment. Take the AFP's modernization program.
Remember, what we need is really funds in order for us to achieve the objectives.
Horizon 3 is in full swing, and it's aiming for long-range capabilities, surveillance, and anti-access deterrence. Many of these require overseas procurement, contract payments that are priced in dollars, euros, yen. A strong reserve gives the Philippines negotiating power. It keeps the peso from sliding when these big-ticket items are placed and ordered, and more importantly, it sends a signal. We can afford to defend ourselves. Even if the reserves aren't used directly for defense, they support the entire financial ecosystem that makes defense spending possible and sustainable. But the reserves aren't just about weapons or imports. They're a shield against the next crisis, whatever form that takes. When people hear about a country's billion-dollar reserves, they usually think missiles, jets, submarines. But here's the truth. Reserves like these aren't just about for buying military hardware. They're also the financial armor that protects the entire country when things fall apart. Typhoons, natural disasters, pandemics, global oil shocks, food shortage crises. The Philippines has seen them all. And when those disasters strike, it's the gross international reserves, or GIR, that keep the country from unraveling. It's the financial equivalent of a bunker. You don't see it, you don't use it every day, but when everything's collapsing, it's the only thing keeping the lights on. Take COVID-19. While the global economy was paralyzed, the Philippines used its reserves to import vaccines, buy critical medical supplies, and prevent the peso from spiraling out of control. Or go back further to the 1997 Asian financial crisis, or the 2008 global recession. While neighbors defaulted or begged for bailouts, Manila held firm because its reserves were strong and ready. $1 billion in reserve isn't just an immense amount. It's a reflection of discipline, resilience, and potential. It's a message to the world. The Philippines can stand on our own. But today is no time to relax. It's time to invest. In energy, in industry, in innovation, and yes, in national defense. Because true independence isn't just celebrated on June 12th. It's built every day by smart planning and strong institutions. The GIR is the Philippines' war chest, emergency fund, and strategic backbone. But like any good asset, it only works if it's protected, grown, and put to good use. The future of the Philippines doesn't depend on luck. It depends on leadership, strategy, and the will to act before crisis strikes. So here's where we stand. Billion-dollar reserves quietly shield the Philippines from the world's storms. They've kept food on the table during crises, stabilized the peso when markets panicked, and prevented the kind of economic collapse that topples nations. But now we face a bigger question, a strategic one. Should more of these reserves be deployed, not just to survive disasters, but to transform the country? To finally fund serious military modernization, invest in energy independence, and build the kind of resilient infrastructure that keeps us strong no matter what comes? Or do we keep playing it safe, stockpiling for the next financial typhoon, hoping that when the storm hits, the safety net holds? This is more than just economics. This is about turning financial strength into real and lasting power. The kind that ensures the Philippines can stand tall, protect its people, and never bow to external pressure. We want to hear from you, the people who matter most in this debate. Should these reserves fuel our rise as a stronger, smarter Pilipinas, or should they stay locked away for the worst-case scenario? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Share this video, and if you believe in informed, grounded discussions about the moves shaping our destiny, hit that subscribe button.